For generations, the worst among us have contrived to tear our social and political fabric apart to the benefit of the few over the many. Their intent and mission have been diabolically simple: divide and conquer. And they have been wildly successful. Hi, I'm Michael James Ott, veteran, retired engineer and businessman, and now ambassador and facilitator for the solution to this madness: citizen statesmanship. The vast majority of people from all corners of the globe are just like you and me. Extraordinary, so-called ordinary people. Join us in our quest to recreate the political landscape, eliminating the tribal warfare and hostilities incited for centuries by the label and blame mantra of our traditional leaders. Now is the time to end the atrocities of god-awful leadership, launching a final and lasting divorce from tyranny. All driven by everyday citizens, driven by you and me. Take our hands, walk with us to a far brighter tomorrow, free of hate, fear, and injustice. It's the Pro and Con Show, brought to you today and every day by Citizen Statesmanship, the cure for what ails us. Hey, welcome to the Pro and Con Show. I'm Michael James Ott.
And I am Ben McLaughlin, and we are co-hosts for today's show.
It is important to say that this show is for everyone on every corner of the globe.
Yes, sir.
And we have a great, awesome show for you today.
A really good one.
A really good one. Today's topic is the pros and cons of AI. Just AI meaning artificial intelligence.
Yes, sir.
And so, Ben, are you ready?
I am ready. Let's talk about this scary thing.
Let's
some people
chat about artificial intelligence, AI.
Okay.
So, pros and cons. So, do you have, is there a pro or a con that comes to mind, like, right away?
I mean, I think that, our viewers are probably already thinking about some cons. So, let's have some pros.
Okay.
We were talking a little bit before we started of like the pros and the benefits to the medical industry. I mean, I think everybody wants, better medical care, better health care. You want your doctor to get it right the first time. You want your nurses to be attentive to you. We know that nurses are way overworked, short-staffed. They have a really tough workload. And I mean, just in general, if you think about a job, nobody does their best every single day at their job. You put that with people's lives, I mean, that can be really, really bad. So I think that everybody can agree that using artificial intelligence to enhance healthcare for us all could be a good thing. I mean, how nice would it be, like you were saying, if you have a doctor that's read every medical book ever written, seen every case study, can analyze your x-rays and your vitals and get it down to, let's say, about a 0.5 accuracy of what the issue is and what the solution is the first time. Versus, I'm pretty sure a lot of our viewers know, stories of, maybe grandma went into the hospital and then they thought it was this and she had a reaction to that, and just those of us who've experienced that. I mean, it's tragic.
Well, the human body, I mean, we're really complex.
Exactly.
The biology is really complex.
Mm-hmm.
And so the doctors, and I have a bunch of college friends that
mm-hmm.
ended up being doctors. And so they tell me all the time, it's like, well, you're trying to figure out what it is, but the body's complex.
Exactly.
And you can have like pain transference things going on, so your shoulder hurts, but it's actually being caused by you got a bad molar in your jaw. All kinds of weird
stuff. And that's an interesting thing. It's like, man, so I'm hurting over here, but I feel it there. Wait, what?
And that can go on with like serious things like heart attacks, and men and women have different reactions to that. And I don't remember, I just remember the concept they have. But you can feel, let's say you're having a heart attack, and if you're a woman, you feel certain things, and you wouldn't say this is in any way associated with your heart. But and men, there's like a pain in the left arm, things that are most common, but not always, and on and on and on. Yeah, so that would be a big pro, especially if in the future we can easily, all of us extraordinary, ordinary people, can readily, access that fantastic, super smart doctor that's diagnosing what's wrong with us. And and this is called the pro and con show for a reason. There's pros and cons to everything. And so one of the pros of artificial intelligence is this kind of thing could be happening. And I mean, it is happening. There's this, I've got a friend, as I mentioned, I've got several friends that are word now, some of them are retired now. Okay. But anyway, and in the field of radiology. And even some years ago, there was discovered that the computer programs that were way less sophisticated than they are today could look at images and determine things that humans would overlook. And the way they knew this is they talked to people that had serious outcomes at the moment, lung cancer or whatever, a tumor, aneurysm in their brain, all kinds of things. And so here's the thing. And they said, oh, by the way, did you have x-rays 5 years ago or 7 years ago, or ultrasounds or whatever? And when the answer was yes, they went back and they looked at those images. Wow. And they had humans look at them, and then they had the archaic at that time software look at those things at the time, and those archaic versions were like 97% able to look at those images and see the thing that eventually became the big tumor in the guy's lung.
And this was the early version.
This was like 5, 6, 7 years prior. And so you can just see, and that's going to be a great thing. That's going to be a great thing. And for example, you need some legal help. Okay. Well, in the future, if we have a chat GPT that does medical, then we could also have a chat GPT thing that does legal,
which would be cool.
Because now
no more speeding tickets.
Well, I don't know about that.
I mean, you can litigate it down a little bit.
But you would be well defended.
Yeah.
So the same sort of thing. Now you have a lawyer that has read every legal case ever in the history of mankind, has studied all the judgments and all this other stuff, has read all the laws and parsed the interpretations that the juries that might have been involved with trying to adjudicate those laws, and parsed all that stuff, and now it is your advisor. It is your advisor, and it can tell you, whatever it is. I need to get a divorce, or I need to write a really good will, or I need to, whatever. And this thing, and in theory, of course, once it's in a box and it, can do it, the incremental costs, okay, maybe there's some costs up front to develop this thing, but then the incremental cost is nothing. And so in theory, if you have the right, people in charge of this information, of this capability, then wow, just think of, and so here's the thing, it goes step by step through all the different professions. We talked about the medical profession, we talked about the legal profession. Well, you can talk about the culinary profession and chefs and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, man.
and, right? And so, and then you can also, because, this is amazing. So we're going to take a little bit of an aside here. We're going to return to pros and cons, but
Oh, yeah.
so that the technology, the rapid development of this technology, and I want to speak just momentarily about humanoid technology.
Yes.
Humanoid technology, because not only are you going to have, like, let's say the smartest, best educated doctor in the world, but it doesn't have to sit in a box on the desk. It can be walking around.
Yeah.
And it can come to your house. And you and I were talking about this a day or two ago, or maybe earlier today, where, and it can have sensors and things in it, because it's a humanoid robot.
It just knows.
It has the sensors. So now it can, ultrasonically test things or whatever.
Exactly.
It can do all kinds of things right there on the spot. Mm-hmm. And then, okay, here's the information that I gathered by just touching you now or doing whatever. And now, whoop, here's what it means. And all the positive outcomes, like the diagnosis is correct. And like you were saying, I think you were saying, you could have, instead of, I tried this, it wasn't right, tried that, it wasn't right. So anyway, so now there's all these, maybe the right word is savant. So for a particular area, so this isn't the glory, wonderful, so-called, people refer to it as a singularity, where, the computer is literally all-knowing. like capable of all thought and capable of all things. But it's relatively easy, just like ChatGPT. Now that it's relatively easy for that thing to write, pretty good stories, right? And we mentioned on the show earlier that we can make these images.
Yes.
And it's pretty good. You describe what you want, and it'll help you make these images, and they're pretty good, especially if it's the concept that you want. It's been gloriously helpful.
Yes, and you put in more details. It gives you more vibrance, more details, more complex designs. It's amazing.
So step by step, and all of these things could be wonderful. They could be wonderful, but there's some things that are happening. So you talk about this. It happens so fast, and especially because you can, as we were talking about, you can take this program that's intended to be like kind of this mechanical worker program. So it's well versed. It's been trained on every use of every wrench, every screwdriver, every fastener. It's been trained on everything that any mechanic has ever touched ever, right? And now that can be put in a humanoid body.
Man.
And then, so the positive thing is, you can have it do things that are really hard for humans to do. Literally, it could do back-breaking work, but it could do it and not humans.
Yeah.
Or it could do incredibly redundant work that would cause the human joints and things to fail, right? So you don't get
repetitive motion constantly nonstop. Right.
So like the typing thing is
carpal tunnel.
Carpal tunnel. So it would, hey, no more carpal tunnel, no more, none of that stuff. All those kinds of things, ailments that the humans, might get, and it could go into. Maybe there's a terrible place where there's been a big chemical accident or something. And the robots could walk in there and recover things or save the humans that might be trapped inside something or whatever, because they can. because they aren't susceptible to the poisons or whatever. There's on and on and on.
So if I get hurt, I can just get another body.
But then there's the other side of the coin. And so Ben, you've got experiences with doing a lot of things with different machines and different manufacturing environments and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the the pros and cons of things that you've seen?
I mean, definitely the pros are being able to do repetitive motions and, work in hazardous environments to keep other people safe. And then also being able to give us a better view, from a remote and safer location. But the con, definitely, it is definitely going to cost people their jobs. I mean, not just for the effectiveness, like, it only needs to do about 75% as good as the average person. And the cost savings of having an AI or a robot or whatever do that job is so much greater because it can continuously do it. Then it can do it in complete darkness in most cases. So
really, so just roughly in your experience, it can be even 70%, only 75%.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it can be just only 75% of what a typical worker would be, and because of all the other things, like it can run forever and stuff like that, and never get sick and stuff like that.
I mean, just thinking about it, like if you think about automating a manufacturing process, the pros and cons, like automating it with the power of AI. AI has access to things that humans don't. I mean, it has access to things that already exist, like sensors, geolocation, or just having a scan of this room and knowing that nothing is going to move. I don't need light anymore. As a human, you might know your house very well, but it's still a chance that you'll stub your toe. And also, you got OSHA regulations and stuff, and it's dangerous. But just with that, just with 75% accuracy and a reduced per hour working cost, I no longer have to pay medical insurance. Don't have to give you any other kind of benefits in the company. I don't have to worry about giving you time off. Family time, vacation time, sick time. This thing is going to run every time I flip a switch. It's going to run whether I'm here watching it or not. So now I don't even have to worry about, unreliable workers. So, I mean, with AI, it's a pro for the big businesses, big industries, the NARSOLES. But for we, the people, in some cases, a lot of people don't even realize how replaceable they are and how fast that is going to become an option with the way that AI is developing. Because, I mean, we're seeing a new thing here. We're used to technology having to be designed, a concept presented, voted on, decided will we, won't we, tested in a control group. Now we are the control group. I mean, the more that we put in, the more it learns. The more it does it, the more it learns. I mean, the learning rate versus a human, there's no comparison. Like, I can set this thing and let it do it one time. If it runs into this wall or whatever, it'll never do it again because it remembers. And I mean, you just can't compete with that. I mean, I would like to see it go more towards a co-working space. I think we would all benefit from that. That could be a pro of human oversight and being able to work and keep it in places where it's needed so that people are still relevant. I don't want to see us kind of move ourselves into, I don't even know how I would say it. We're going to make ourselves obsolete for the pursuit of money, for the NARSOLES pursuit of money. It's literally just going to push humans out of the question. Like, it's just not going to make sense. Certain things, I mean, like even with the doctor, that is so great to have this technology that can, do accurate health diagnosis and you don't have to go through that. But at the same time, what happens for all of our doctors? I mean, everybody's not at retirement age. Some people are just now coming out of medical school, and it's, oh, well, should have studied something else for the last 12 years. It's like, it's crazy. And I mean, but that's where we're rushing to. And I fear that if we're not careful, and we're constantly focusing on savings and faster and what can we produce, before we know it, we're going to create another crisis. I mean, on a scale that we've never seen. We've seen manufacturing plants close. We've seen restaurants close. We haven't seen hospitals close. We haven't seen doctors' offices just out of business and they're largely out of work. That's a really scary thought. No doctors, no lawyers. Like, that's something that I don't think that we necessarily are equipped to deal with at this moment. Mm-hmm. And it's something that should be talked about and considered.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the show that we want to talk about. We're what you said it already. I just want to reiterate it. Mm-hmm. We're rushing headlong into things that could be wildly different than what we have experienced before. I don't think, because we're humans, again, we talk about this all the time, and we're focused like on today and things like that, most of us. Mm-hmm. And you have a tendency, and this is one of the reasons why, just a quick aside, for example, a thing like Social Security is a good thing, and it was done back in the 30s, mm-hmm. because we realized that we humans were just not that good at kind of taking that fundamental step of, I'm going to live to be 80 or 90 or 100. Mm-hmm. I need to have something.
You're right.
We're just not that good at it. So the government said, led by, people having all these problems, that mm-hmm. we're going to try to establish something in this country. It's called Social Security. Mm-hmm. And okay, there's all kinds of, and again, the NARSOLES with the political parties, there's this massive fight, because that's all what they do. They want mm-hmm. everybody hating each other and yelling and screaming at each other. But the reality is, Social Security is what it is, and it's a thing that in general is a good thing, because we humans haven't been very good. So, okay, that's the current paradigm, is, you can rely at least somewhat on Social Security. And, like my mother was on Social Security, and toward the end of her life, that was mostly the only income that she had. She had savings, and she had Social Security. But she did fine. She did fine. She had a nice little house, and and ate the food that she enjoyed, and
she was able to actually live a life.
Yeah, and there's no way that would have been possible if it hadn't been for Social Security, mm-hmm. and on and on and on. But to the point being that this because, and this is why I talked about, well, it's the medical, and then it's the legal, and then it's the the mechanical people, and and all the engineers. Like, okay, I was trained as a chemical engineer. Mm-hmm. Well, there easily can be a chat GPT for chemical engineering.
I don't have to stare at this gauge anymore. Now it's in my head. Oh, time to turn it down a little bit.
But it's all the sum knowledge of all the things. And in chemical engineering, you study a whole wide variant of mm-hmm. stuff, because you're kind of the integrator. That's kind of the job, is you're kind of the integrator of everything. Mm-hmm. And so you have to have understanding of all this different stuff. And chat GPT chemical engineer version has all that in spades, right?
It already knows
everything.
It's like, I have all the data from the last accident to know exactly what went wrong, so that won't happen again either.
but all the material properties and all the different energy transfer, mm-hmm. Equations, and all the things that I learned and have long since forgotten in chemical engineering. This thing would know it, and once there's one, then that little humanoid robot, you can make 200 of them,
Yes.
And they don't have, to your point earlier, you didn't have to go to school. You didn't have to learn. You didn't have to, try to figure things out into practical things at your first job or any of that stuff.
None of it.
Don't need mentors or any of it.
Nothing.
So that's the entire paradigm around us working and making money and somehow kind of establishing where we are in society, our so-called worth or our contribution to society. And it's coming. Yes. And did you see? So did you see this video? If I can find it, I'll send it to you if you haven't seen it. So and I can't remember. I saw this video maybe 6 or 7 months ago, and there was the head of an engineering team, and he's like, "Well, we think that artificial intelligence is going about this the wrong way. That we're giving it too much to start with. That what we need it to do is just figure it out."
That sounds familiar.
So then this video they had a little tiny robot that they had made, and the robot had little motors and stuff in it, and it could move its arms and hands and feet and legs and head, and it could twist at the waist and stuff like that. And then they told us, and it had sensors too. It could sense, like it had cameras and it could sense.
Those vision systems are impressive as it is on robots.
But it could sense where the things were, like relative distance. So when it moved its arm, it knew that it had moved the arm, whatever. It got a numerical thing. And I'm saying all that because then they said, okay, they laid this thing on the ground in this little lab area, and they gave it a ball and a goal, like a little mini version of a soccer ball and a goal, and they said, and the only instruction that they gave it is learn how to kick that ball into the goal. And then they sat there and they had cameras, just like the cameras are on us now, and the microphones are on us. But they had, and this video, so they did this time lapse thing, and so the robot just starts like twitching an arm, twitching a hand, twitching a leg, and it's
just learning.
And it's literally like sending random voltage signals to its motors and stuff, and seeing what the reaction is, and measuring that reaction, and then then it learned. To your point, it learned. Well, I sent 5 volts to this for 2 seconds, and this was the outcome. And so the time lapse thing. And so to quickly get to the answer here. You watch this thing, and pretty soon it's like sitting up on its own. And pretty soon it's like standing up on its own, but then it falls down, but then it gets, then it figures out how to get back up. and you're just watching this. And
that is really cool.
And then, like after whatever hours, and it was not days, it was a day or two, like 30 hours or 20 hours or whatever. And then they show this thing, and there's I think it's called dribbling. You play soccer and the ball, and you kind of keep the ball like between, kind of with your legs.
Yeah, you basically they call it dribbling.
Okay, so they're like these, and this little robot is like dribbling the ball, and it's doing wonderfully. And of course, it's like kicking constantly into this goal. And so they take the ball out, and the thing runs around, and it starts dribbling the ball, pow, back into the thing, and this is like. It was like 20 or 30 hours of time lapse. And I was like, oh my goodness. So folks, and this is the reason why, again, one of the reasons why we're doing the show, and there's urgency for us, all of us, to start thinking about what's about to happen to us.
Yes.
What's about to happen to us, because artificial intelligence is coming. And it doesn't have to be the so-called singularity. It can just be a bunch of, the term I used earlier, savant programs that are really good at medicine, or really good at chemical engineering, or really good at being a mechanic.
Yes.
That's all that they just need those, and it's basically Chat GPT, only just focused on this robot needs to be a good mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to focus everything, and it's going to learn everything there is
And
to know about
that's
operating
what
a
it
wrench in
does.
the world. And that's what it does. And as soon as it's able to do that, and you said, well, they only have to be 75% as good as a human.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're rapidly going to be
yes.
better.
But I mean, like, as far as the decision being made that this is the way to go, 75%, and we go up from there. Yeah, there's no reason to have a person over here now. And like I said, we have NARSOLES in control, and we know that they are about money, power, me.
Right.
I don't have to give to this person anymore. I can keep getting what I want, and when I want it, don't have to worry about complaints, don't have to worry about regulations.
Yeah.
They're going to go for it, and that's the danger. And of course, they won't. Rather than the program like you said, of specified for this technology for these specific areas, they want that all in one because it's an arsehole. Me. I want it all.
Yeah.
And they don't care about the rest of us, honestly. What the effects it's going to have.
And so, and just to finish the thought here, and then we're going to start talking about a little bit something different. It could be, you remember the movie The Matrix?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For those of you that are too young, but it's around there. It's kind of, what's it called, a cult classic or something like that?
Yes, it definitely is.
So many of you, and if you don't know what The Matrix is, you should watch it. Actually, it's actually a pretty good movie. It's very entertaining. But the whole point is, there's a place in there where, like the humans, there's a probe that's stuck in their head, and you're programmed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, these humanoid bots, maybe there's modules, and so the bot itself is kind of universal.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a module at the first. There's a module that's, okay, I want this to be my chauffeur.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to install the chauffeur module.
And that's it.
And then, or even you could have, and then this would be in the early days, because eventually it's all going to be built in, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what we've seen in countless things over time. You look at your smartphone, right? How many things can your smartphone do these days?
So much.
It's a billion.
So much.
Right? There's a billion programs and things that your smartphone. Well, in the beginning, as Steve Jobs famously said, it's a phone, it's an iPod, and it's an internet browser.
Yep.
that was he stood up on the stage and people were amazed.
I remember being blown away by that. I was like, what?
It's a phone, it's an iPod, it's an internet browser. Bam,
man.
he said it over and over and over again, right? Well, now, whatever years later, right? So that was 2007. So it's coming up on 20 years?
Wow.
Yes, it's coming up on 20 years. And now, well, look at that, right? So there you go. So, and we're going to talk about this also, but we wanted just to give you a little flavor for this thing. Okay, so we talked about this paradigm potentially changing.
Yes.
The paradigm could wildly change.
I mean,
and
fast.
fast. And it is changing very fast. And some of the smartest human minds in the world recognize this, and they talk about it. You can search other YouTube or Spotify podcasts or whatever, but there's plenty of people talking about this. Some of the smartest people on the planet, recognize that this is happening. So I asked, because I was started asking some months ago when it became apparent to me that this kind of thing was happening. I started asking, people that I would run into, hey, what do we do when we have nothing to do? And so what is going to happen? And I got a bunch of blank stares, and including, we did another episode called "The Man in the Mirror," including when I looked in the mirror, I was like, yeah, I don't know. So
we're in a race.
So I asked ChatGPT. And we just want to point out, because this is the main point of this particular episode, we're going to talk about all this stuff in detail in a future episode. But the scenarios How, so, and again, it's important to us, and the reason why I'm talking about it now is because who's in charge? Who's in charge? Are the NARSOLES in charge? Or are we, the extraordinary, ordinary, common, everyday citizens, in charge? Who's in charge? Because if it's us, I think we stand a good chance of having a good outcome, a good future. But if it's the NARSOLES, the current leaders of our world are the NARSOLES, they are the current leaders. If they still are in charge, whoa.
Yeah.
So when you read through these, there's an optimistic scenario where basically everything is automated, and we, again, if we are in charge, us humans are the government, us normal everyday people, then okay, there's a bunch of and we all have robots, and they're driving us, or they're cooking for us if we want them to, or they're clean, or they're doing the laundry if we want them to. Or they're gardening in the yard if we want them to, or if we want them to, right? And then what are we doing? Well, we're doing what we enjoy, which is okay, playing pickleball, or going swimming, or maybe we're banding together because there's an area in town, and we're like, let's get together and let's just spruce that up. Just let's. Yes, we could have the robots do it. Yeah, but let's just do that. I mean, let's have fun. It sounds like fun, and we be creative ourselves and enjoy that kind of thing. So that's one optimistic scenario. That's probably, according to ChatGPT, is a 30% probability. 30%. Now, there's a second optimistic scenario where we're kind of working side by side with the robots in everything that we do. And so it's kind of the scenario where they do the heavy lifting kind of stuff. So we're still working a construction job, but if there's a dangerous thing, the robot does it. If there's some big heavy thing, the robot does it. If there's a fire or something, we don't send human firefighters in to fight the forest fire anymore. We send the robots in because it doesn't matter to them. They can't be destroyed.
Or like stuff that we just had, like the snowstorms and stuff.
Right.
The guys, the linemen that were going to restoring power. I was seeing videos, a lot of trees collapsing and falling on their trucks while they were trying to get to these rural areas. Yeah.
So all those kinds of things, we could have the robots do that, but then we humans would just keep doing things that we more or less enjoy. And the probability of that, according to ChatGPT, was 15%. Then we get into the pessimistic scenarios, which is now you have the first scenario is now the NARSOLES, they have their little feudal communities.
Yep.
So we're going to go back to whatever it was in Europe where they had these little kingdoms.
Or feudal Japan when you had shogun.
Okay, there you go. Okay. And so then you've got the current NARSOLES, some of them or most of them, whatever, they have figured out, they've spent the money, and they've established their own little protective enclaves where they can live a life of leisure and stuff like that, while the rest of us, because they don't give a darn about us, of course, because they're NARSOLES, just we scrap and die or whatever happens
to us happens.
They're like, don't care, it's outside the walls. Don't care. Probability of that is 40%. And then the last scenario is this whole thing that we talked about, how this paradigm is changing. It changes, and we're totally everyone's totally unprepared for it, and everything just collapses. You just end up in this, it's not even the Terminator scenario. It's just, there's just wild hate and fighting, and, no one knows, there's all of the good things, the things we talk about that we want in our lives, to be free of hate, fear, and injustice. Well, that scenario is just full of hate, fear, and injustice.
Yes, it's absolutely
brimming with hate, fear, and injustice.
terrifying, actually.
And that probability, according to ChatGPT, was only about 15%. So I read this, and Ben read this,
Yes.
and in future shows we'll talk at length about what's in here. But what was your reaction, Ben, to these probabilities?
For one, there's a higher probability of cons than there are pros as far as the scenarios go. So
Right.
it is most likely on the path that we are on as a whole, because it's drawing this from looking at the big picture and saying, okay, you could do this, you could do that, but as a whole, it is basically saying we are going towards the wrong direction. I mean, what was it, like 40?
So on total,
Oh,
50, 55, 45.
Yes.
More or less a coin flip, but with a bias toward benefits.
Yeah, and that last scenario was definitely, reading through it, that's definitely a little bit higher probability of that one, because we both can agree that we could see that now. We could see the collapse coming. Like I said, the pursuit of money and automation and implementing these things to make money faster is rushing us towards collapse. Because like you said, what do people do when we don't have anything to do? As a whole, society doesn't know how to live life. We don't know how to live largely without survival. People know once they reach retirement because that's what you worked for. But when you're not working for retirement anymore, what do you do?
Yeah, there's one part is just how do you survive and or thrive physically, but then there's the mental aspect, and so how do you get fulfillment? What gives you fulfillment? And there's a lot of things that can provide fulfillment, but I'm sure in your job, for example, there are things at your work that from time to time actually provide fulfillment.
Yes.
You do something and you see it, and it's like, hey, that's working.
Yes.
And I did that.
It's like, I did that. I did
that. It's working, and you feel fulfillment, right? You did something, you created something, and it's working, and you feel fulfilled. Well, there's and we kind of naturally, because most of us work, we kind of naturally feel, have those things in our lives because we do things and we get fulfilled by them. But okay, what if all that isn't true? So the whole point being, even if it's 55-45, let's say that's true. Let's say it's 50-50. It's a coin flip. Are you, audience out there, whether you're watching or listening, are you willing to bet your future on a coin flip? Because it's going to be either mostly all good or mostly all bad.
And that's the thing of that coin flip.
And so are you going to put, because if we leave the NARSOLES in charge like they are today, you're going to flip that coin and it's going to land one way or the other. And we hope. And then, so one last thing, a brother of mine, I was talking to him some time ago, years ago, and I was like, well, I hope blah, 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 blah. And he goes, well, hope in one hand, poop in the other.
And see which one fills up first.
Hope in one hand,
that's the truth.
See which one fills up first.
Oh, man.
Okay.
And that's where we are.
And that's where we are.
It's scary. Because not only will it be either good or bad, it's going to either be really, really good or really, really bad. It's not really a middle ground here.
That's right.
And
what's coming for us is either going to be really, really good or really, really bad.
And greed. And that's the thing. The biggest thing is greed.
NARSOLES.
Look at the response just to an alternative fuel source. I can't tell you how many people at work complain about electric cars. They're like, oh man, or anytime you mention, cause that's where I really mainly interact with a lot of different people. You say anything electric, they're, oh man, I don't want nothing electric, I don't want this, I don't want that, and it's like, have you considered the pros and cons? It's just, okay, you're on this side, that's where we are. And I mean, it could be really, really good or really, really bad. Like I said, but people don't respond to it well. When it starts to show and it starts to become a thing, that is the perfect time for a narsole to strike if we don't plan for this.
Right.
And that's the problem, is I don't see anyone planning for this. It seems like there isn't a plan because those in charge just look at the benefits, and it's going to eventually add up to another way to divide us, pretty much.
Sure. That eventually there'll just be the label and blame thing, and that's the whole thing. The narsoles are in charge. We're let them because they've labeled and blamed us into being coerced to do their bidding, more or less. But we recognize some of us have looked forward some and said, okay, the cliff is coming.
Yes.
We're on the bus together. Let's grab the wheel and turn the wheel.
Exactly.
Let's grab the wheel and turn the wheel. Let's not go off the cliff.
Yes.
Okay. So on that note, let's go ahead and finish up the show. All right?
All right.
So that was a great show, I thought. And like I said, we'll talk about all these topics
Really
in some more depth in the future.
Yeah.
So our next show is brimming with awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce.
It's called Artificial Intelligence is Coming for You.
Ooh. It definitely is. It's coming for us all in some form or fashion.
It's coming for us.
I mean, I guess we kind of be considered early adapters.
So the next show, please join us, won't you?
Bye for now.